This is what the Kaplan database front end looks like. This is pre-login. I have, for logging in, you are required to give this user ID password, and then once you receive the OTP, you have to verify that OTP, and then we'll enter into the database. This is Kaplan database. Uh, they have a tie-up with ICI, so you must have seen also ICI logo on the top right side. This is how the database looks like, right? They have this all particular front end window where all the Sensex, Nifty, etc. are given. The main part for us is this, the on the left side, as you may see here, that these are certain modules, or you can say certain data which is available under Capline, and we can access company wise data, this particular data of particular company, right? So this is where the front end module lies in the Capline company. Now if for example I need to search, suppose if I just take one company name, probably I'll just take this Reliance which I have taken right now. So if I just want to check that particular data of that Reliance Industries, obviously it's available on the BSE, NSE, as well as it's a listed company, so it has its data on its website also, that I'm not required to go ahead and check for that particular part. But if there is any other company also, like let me just give you one example of, like, if there's a Puma India Corporate Services Private Limited, suppose this is a Puma Sports India Company Limited, then you can understand that such type of companies data, there are many companies data available in this Kaplan database, but you can check here that you can get all the data of this entire company from here. You can check any of the company. This is just for example I have taken. There can be many companies, like if you search for Adidas, so I'm just taking some famous companies name, but there are also other companies like whose data are available and whose data information are available, and you can appropriately, apart from using Capline for just transfer pricing purpose as well, you can use a Capline database to fetch that amount of data, other part of data as well, that you can learn separately when you start using this particular software or particular Capline database. Now our main part lies here, that is TP screener. As you can see here on the extreme right top corner, there's this TP screener which is there, right? That on that particular part we need to work out, because that is where it is a dedicated transfer pricing module they have, and from where you can take the search, right? So I'm just opening that part. Now as you can see, this is a particular dedicated module for undertaking transfer pricing searches, right, for TNMM searches. So as I said that we are required to build query first, right? So I'll just come to the mind map, and where I said that first process that we are required to perform is that we need to build the query on this particular portal, right? Now first I need to select the modules activity. So these are called modules. As you can see, industry, sector, segment, balance sheet abstract, NIC activity, NIC code. So these are called modules, as also there are finished products also and finished product code as well. So there are list of this code also, these are list of modules as well. Now I would always prefer that in case if you are undertaking this analysis in financial year 23-24, then you should change this segment to 2022, right? Because the 23-24 data might not have been captured that way, because once the company files that financials on the MCA's website, and post that, once this particular team of Capline downloads that financials and update that data, then it will take time to get 23 data updated on this Capline website. So that is where you should always select 2022 or probably prior 1 year prior to that. This is in your hand. You can select, you can do experiment, and you can check that how many number of comparables are increasing or not. Correct. Currently I have selected it all right now, but you can select accordingly year wise as well, because in certain searches I will do that. I generally do that in certain searches. Now if you see here, you can see the loading part, it is coming right now. So at times also may happen that database you may have to wait on this when you are, because there is a bunch of data in this database, and it also takes time for this database to process that and to again come to the query part. So it takes time for database to reset itself. So it will have a patience also when you're working with this particular type of database. It's not instantly. However, it is good that now it is cloud based, so you are not required to install the particular app in your server or your desktop or laptop, but it's a cloud based thing, so that you can access anytime, anywhere, right? Now, as I also explained that I can save also the peer sets, right? So you can view the peer sets from this part as well. If I just click, if I am not sure if I've saved any peer set or not, but if I would have saved that, I'll get the data of that peer set from here, right? I'm not sure. I don't generally have practice to save peer set, because I'll again run the search analysis, and whenever I take a search analysis, I'll sit for 2-3 hours at a stretch, and then I'll do the search, right? That is how I perform the search analysis, so that I get the numbers intact, rather than getting stopping the search in between and then again starting that afterwards. So I don't have that practice. Even I would recommend that whenever you start a search, ensure that your quantitative analysis at least is completed. That is, whatever the output which you need to receive from the database is with you right now. All right, now I'll just move ahead. One of the example which I have taken right now here is, I'll be also sharing this particular practical file when in the below this video. Now, one of the example which I have taken here is that the tested party is engaged in making machinery, that is injection molding machinery, which ultimately manufactures the jars, like PET jars, bottles, like plastic bottles. So one of the my client, so basically it is engaged into this particular activity which I have assumed right now, and it's a tested party. So what I need to do is I need to find some comparable companies who are engaged in same activity. What is that activity, or what is the characterization of the tested party? That it is engaged into the manufacturing of injection molding machinery, which ultimately produces the plastic PET jars, right? PET jars is what they call in the business, right? So appropriately I need to find, my objective is to find comparables for that particular tested party. Now, how will I start with the database? So first I need to select the activity module, right? As you can see here, that I have selected these 4 particular industry, sector, segment and NIC activity modules, right? Now this search I am taking for year 21-22, correct? So you must be seeing that 21 I have selected here, 2008 I have selected, sector I have selected, industry. So technically I'm not taking for 21-22, I'm taking for 22-23. I'm sorry, I'm just mistake, but yeah, I'm taking this search for 22-23, correct? And that is where I have selected this segment and the year, which is 1 year prior to this particular year in which I am undertaking the search, right? Now, under this particular module, there are keywords also. Now, this keywords I have selected, correct? Here I have written down that keywords, but technically what you are going to do is, when you start searching, first you need to understand that what are the keywords available in particular module, right? So what generally I do the process is, I'll copy this way the entire set of keywords first, whatever they are available, and then after I'll copy paste them in Excel. So first is I have selected the modules on which I need to select the keywords, right? So first I have selected industry, then I have selected the sector, then I have selected the segment, and then I have selected the NIC activity, right? Now, but it is not that at a time you will work on 4 modules. No, it will be not. It is not going to happen that way. How you are going to deal with this particular problem is, or this particular matter is, that first you need to select the keywords from the industry. Now in this entire list, it would be a cumbersome process that if I just go one by one keyword. So what I will do is, I have selected this set of entire keywords from here itself under this module. I'll copy it and I'll open an Excel file and I'll paste that. This is as simple as that, and then after it will become easy for me to select the relevant keyword for which I am undertaking the search, right? So I'll just open the Excel file here and I'll just paste. So I need to paste it in form that it is easily available, right? This is how I'll paste it. So there are no filters, no formatting things, right? Now I will write here industry, because it's an industry module, right? So this is just for example I am showing you. then I will filter it out. And then if I am, I need to first understand that in which industry the tested party is there. So my tested party generally caters to plastic bottles and jars industry. So I will search for jar or injection molding if that's available. Now that is my, as I said, my tested party is engaged into manufacturing of injection molding machinery, right? So first I will check with the most relevant, which is injection molding. So it is not available, as you can see, right? So then molding, is that available? Molded luggage is available, but that is not relevant for me. Now you can understand that why I am not selected that molded luggage keyword, because that is not the industry which my client caters to, which my tested party caters to, right? Now injection molding I have done. Plastic industry, yes, could be selected, but not all plastics. The only plastics where jars are there, because the product which is being manufactured from that particular machine is plastics, bottle and jar. So I will mark here yellow. Alright, so this is what I have selected. I am selecting this keyword. Now as and when I will select this keyword, I will also have this blank word file. So you don't have to put numbers here right now. You will put numbers when that is done. So I'll just remove these numbers right now at this point of time, right? Or I'll just, so okay. So what I'll do is, for timing, I'll just hide them, right? So this will be your first step, that you need to understand that you need to prepare this type of table which has a keyword which you have selected and module, right? First module will come, then after keywords and the output which you receive from this particular query. Now I will also open one more file here, which is screenshots, right? Because we need to take screenshots at each and every process, as I said. So I will open that screenshot file also. I have already taken screenshots. You have to create a new PowerPoint presentation, and whatever point you take whatever point you take this analysis, you are required to take the screenshots as well. All right, and in that particular screenshot, if you can see here, the date and time also comes up, and it is very important, and this result should be also covered, right? Here the keywords might not be reflected what you have selected, but at least your number, which is 15, which is appearing out of 57,000. See, Kaplan has 57,000 companies. So out of that, 15 companies have been selected basis this industry which I have selected, right? This is the first screenshot which I have taken. So in your case, you have to take that screenshot. Now in industry, we have selected one plastic bottle and jar. There could be also multiple industries which you can select, but you need to be the keyword should be more relevant rather than just being a keyword. So now machinery could be an industry. So if you just see here, if I also type machine here, there is machine tools, tungsten and textile machinery, which is again not relevant in my case. In my case, what I am searching is injection molding machinery manufacturers, and the machinery is producing the PET jars. So whatever the relevant industry I got is only one, that is plastic bottles and jar. So now I'll again go to the capital line, and I don't have to type here plastic bottles and jars. Please don't do that. So what you are required to go do here is you have to go here manually, and then after you have to select the plastic bottles and jars, whatever your option which you selected here, right? Whatever the keyword selected here, that you need to find here. So I'll just go to the plastic bottle and jars. So see, sometimes this database will take time to load, to give the output, but you have to keep patience. That is what the thing is. Now I have selected this keyword. As you can see, I have tick marked this plastic bottle and jars keyword. Now if I have tick marked this, I'm not required to go to the second module directly. I don't want to jump there. First, and to submit this, right? So once I submit this, it will show a loading process, correct? And it will show the number of companies which are there in that particular industry. Now see, on March 23, when I took this analysis, there were 57,000 companies. Now they have increased to 70,000. That is, total number of companies matched with the selected activities are 21. So under when I took this analysis in March 23, the number of companies was 15, but now it is coming 21. So so I need to assume that there was nothing here, and appropriately 21 number I need to put down here. Right. So these are the number of companies, that is the resultant output which have emanated from that particular query. Correct. So this screenshot I need to take up, and then after I will have a new PPT file, and that's where I will paste this screenshot, right? This is how I will do. So you can see here that there is this 21 companies are is the output of that particular search, right, from that particular module. Now in similar manner, I will again go here in sector. I will select all the keywords, right? If I do control all, no, it will not come. So I'll have to select I'll have to select from here, and then till here I have to select the things, right? And then again I'll go to the Excel file. यहाँ पे तो I have already select. Now I'll unfilter that, and then after I will copy paste the other things in the other manner, like this manner. So I'll copy paste that, and this is the sector from which I am required to select the keywords, right? Now you don't have to deselect the industry part which you have selected here. Please don't do that, right? You don't need to go to again industry and load all and do other things. These are 21. Keep this as is. Keep this screen as is, as you are seeing the 21 numbers here. Now when you go ahead with sector, I have already I have done this entire search previously. So I'll see for the keywords which are most relevant to my activity of the tested party in the sector module, right? So first I will filter out that part. Okay, so under sector I am getting this, and under sector I have to do the filtering part, and then after I'll again start a search for the relevant keywords, which is like injection molding, right? So injection molding is not available, molding is not available. So now there could be also there could be situations where there could be spelling mistakes, because these are data being uploaded by the other people only, and there could be clerical or administrative errors also when they upload this type of data or they tag this particular sector, product, etc. So there could be spelling mistake as well, so you need to be flexible on that part also. So now what was our tested party? It was in injection molding machinery manufacturing, right? So again, injection I have checked, molding machinery. Now machinery, let me check. Machinery is there? No, machinery is not there. Is there anything which matches machines? No. So sector mein it is not matching, right? Now capital goods, right? Now that could be, now if I think that okay, there is nothing which I am getting right now, then I'll manually see to it that what are the keywords available, and appropriately I'll select my keywords, right? Now if you see here that capital goods electrica, so something is being written right here, right? Now I have to go to this database. I need to check for the entire word what they are trying to say here. So if you see here, electrical equipment capital goods. Now this I can select because my entity is, or my tested party is engaged in injection molding machinery manufacturing, which is again an equipment or machine, right? So I can select this keyword, correct? And then after this is I have selected, so I'll mark it as in yellow. I'll write here selected. This is just cross checking and maintaining the cross check on the data also, what keywords, because in case if there's an issue with internet, or it may happen that sometimes due to any of the things your database may stop working. So again you don't have to select the go ahead and select all such things, and you don't need to do this process. So that is where you are doing this marking of this keyword as well and writing the selected as well. Now this is what you are required to do. Now capital goods is one of the keyword which I am going to select. The other keyword I am going to select is, so where the sector which is applicable is. So I'll just go ahead, and then after whatever your entity or tested party is into, you can select that particular sector, right? So now my particular tested party is into the plastic product sector, right? It produces the PET jar. So I'll try to broaden the search to include the plastic products also, because the end sector of my tested party is selling of that plastic jar. So they are into selling of machinery, which is ultimately rendering, which is there into plastics industry, plastic products. So that is where I'll select this keyword as well. I need to have a broad vision when I'm selecting this. Now as I have selected these two keywords, I'll select these two particular keywords in this particular module of Kaplan also. So if you see here, capital goods already have selected, then again I will go ahead and I'll select the plastic product sector. So this keeps on changing every time. So every time you should do this process only, rather than relying on the last keywords which you must have copy pasted in your last search. You should not do like that. You should always try to copy paste things. Now as plastic product I have selected here, and that particular capital goods also I have selected in the above part, right? Now I'll submit that. Now let us see the output. Now if you see here, there are 1, 2, 3, 9 number of companies which have arrived. So it also includes the 21 companies selected in the industry sector, plus there are more companies around 1211 or 1218 companies which have come up, right, extra from this 70,000 company database, right? So wow. So now what I have to write here is, so now here when I am writing a resultant output, I need to write the number which is there here, right? So this is 1239. So this is what I will write here, that is 1239, and appropriately I will write here the number. I'll take the screenshot of this particular process, then again I will have a new slide here, and then I'll copy paste that screenshot, right? So which shows 1239 numbers. Now this is how you need to exercise on this module. Right, now if I select the segment of 2021, I'll get certain amount of keywords. From that I'll have to select all the keywords which are relevant. So now if you can just, I'm not going to the database right now. Now you can see that under segment also I have selected certain keywords, right? Control valves, industrial capital goods, industrial, see whatever I thought would be comparable or could fetch me a right comparable, I will select those keywords, right? Even if they are a bit nearby to the main product. Now if you see here, industrial machinery also have selected. I have also selected injection molding machinery, correct? Then I have also selected under segment manufacture of PET bottles and jars. So there's a difference, please understand. Now my tested party is engaged into manufacturing of machinery entirely, right? While the end use is the manufacturing of PET bottles and jars, right? So if the company is engaged in manufacturing of PET bottles and jars, that will not be my comparable, because I am into manufacturing of the entire machinery itself, while that particular company would be in the manufacturing of jars and PET bottles. But still I have taken that particular keyword here just for the sake that, because I don't know who uploads this data, who put these tags to the companies, right? And that is where I will make sure that I select such type of keywords as well when I perform my query building on database. So this is how I will build the query in the database. I hope this clarifies. Now once your query is built, now I presume that you must have selected segment, sector, industry, and IC activity. Every time you don't have to load everything again. Once you are done with the module, you have to go to the next module, put the keywords and do the submit part, take the screenshot and have the number of companies here, right? Now you can see that there are 1239 number of companies which have come up, right? Now what we will do is here that now we have to apply the quantitative filters. Now before going to that, what I have to prepare in this database, first of all what I have to do here is I need to change this to latest and I have to load the fields, right? So again these fields will get loaded. Now as you can see here, first step of query building is over, where we have got 1200 companies in our list. There are list of 1200 companies, 1239 companies technically. Now we have to apply quantitative filters, right? It was our next step to apply quantitative filters. Now let me just open that step as well. Now as you can see here that you need to select inbuilt database filters using the key filters depending on the base data set, right? So first financial data availability, consecutive loss making, consecutive negative net worth, then companies that have turnover less than 1 crore and companies that had a substantial transactions with related party in the relevant years for which you are searching this part. Now how will I do that? So as this is a specific transfer pricing module developed by Capitaline, so it has also TP formulas. If you see here on the left side, select module is written here, right? So यहाँ पे you can understand that TP formulas has also been given, correct? So now if you just come to here and if you go in this particular part, you will be able to understand that there are predefined formula also given under the under this particular selection columns, where you can select the formula, you can load that field, and that particular part will come into this particular module or this particular table. So now if there are two parts to this step 2, first is first is where you have done this number of years to latest, not only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but latest number of years which are there present. That is, in the output you require the latest number of years that you have selected here, and then you are seeing the formulas which are relevant in your case, right? Now in my case, what I have done here is I will not go ahead with selection of any of these formulas which are there available right now, because if you see in Capitalign, there are inbuilt this formulas here itself, that is formula or queries you can say, they have inbuilt here, right? So what I will do here is I will go ahead with the background part, and what I will do here is just a second. Okay, so now I will go with the background part, and I am not going to use this TP formulas, R&D, forex data, etc., profit loss right now at this point of time, because it is not required in my case. Probably you may go ahead and when you search that, it may require in your case, where you are required to apply some special type of filters, but I am not going to do that right now. What I am going to do right now is, as I will load field here, I will click on the load fields, I will get here some sort of criteria and operator which I can do that, right, which I can select here. Now what I will do in company long name is I will just click here and place a tab button, right? So it will start processing the data. Now out of 1200 companies, it may so happen that if you see here, number of companies unmatched, so 253 companies out of 1200 companies does not fit into this criteria what we have put here, right, company long name. So this type of companies don't fit into this criteria, and they will be automatically excluded from this particular data set. Now when we are dealing with this particular database also, you should see the instructions which has been given on the left hand upper side, like where you have to select the appropriate operator, then enter the criteria. So then the year should be in YYY MMM format. The range should be in YYY MMM format, right? Then range should be separated by either dash, like, so this is if I want a year end, so I'll separate this. If I want data from April 2012 to March 2013, then I will put this year end here, right? Then if there's a sales figure which I want, then it will be 1 crore to 100 crores. So here whatever figures is there, they are in crores right now in this particular database. Now data is in crores, and so enter absolute values only. So every data what you are dealing here, the numerical the number data, it will be in the crores only. Now this is how entire you need to build the query. Now obviously you have selected the keywords. Now your query building process, or probably filtering out the companies would require this type of query building exercise. Now you can see that in this process we built the query, and now we are going ahead with building a further query which will ensure that the quantitative filters are appropriately entered into the database only, and we get the output from the database only. So as I said that there is this module from which you can select the formula which are inbuilt, you can select the parameters, and then appropriately applying appropriate operator, you can get the operator and criteria, you can get the number of companies as in output. Now this is entirely quantitative analysis process, right, that we are doing on a database. Now as you saw earlier, I think in the earlier version it was 1239 companies. I'm not sure why 2 companies now have been added in this part, but yes, so now we are dealing with 1241 number of companies on which we need to apply the quantitative filters, right, in the database. Now this is the company long name. What I'll do here is I'll just press a tab here, because the companies wherein the relevant economic or financial data is not available will get excluded in this company long name criteria. I'm not sure why do they keep this criteria only if they want to exclude that part of companies only, but that's an inbuilt in database. Even I cannot help it on that part. So that's where company long name will exclude those companies which don't have data, or which we presume that doesn't have data into Kaplan database. There's just this long name which is available right now. So we'll have to keep patience once when this particular thing gets processed. Now, as you can see that it has been processed, and 988 companies are matched. So basically they fit into, they are further eligible for further analysis, right? Now, as I said that on the left hand side, these instructions are given, and appropriately we need to select the operator, put the criteria and get the output. That is what the thing what we are required to do here. Now year end, so now as we are presuming that we are undertaking analysis for financial year 2022 to 2023, right? 22-23, for which we are undertaking this entire analysis. So technically applying that particular relevant years provisions, right? Which said that in case if you are undertaking analysis for financial year 22-23, that is current year, then you also have to consider the data which is prior 2 years prior to the current year, that is 2021, 21-22 as well, right? You need to consider that amount of data as well. So we need to analyze the data pertaining to this 3 particular years, that is 2021, 21-22 and 22-23, because as our transaction pertains to that year. That is what we are presuming right now. So what I will give here now, as you can see in the year end, I'll give a range. Range means the companies who have financial data in these 3 particular years, that companies will get reflected in this database. The companies which doesn't have this data in these 3 years won't get reflected, right? So this is what we call a range. So that is what I will put it into this criteria part. Now we have to, as we are looking for 2020, so from April 2020 till March 2023, right? 2021, 21, 22 and 22, 23. So we'll put that range here. How we'll put that? We have already seen above that in case if you want to put a range here, then you have to put in this format, right? So now 2020 04, that is April 2020 till 2023 03. Now this is what I will put. Now if the company has 2 years of data out of this 3 years, then also it will be considered as an accepted part and it will come under the number of companies matched. Now you can see here it has processed this. As you can see that out of 1241 companies which we identified by placing the keywords, there are 771 companies which can be used for further analysis, because the relevant data for what is available out of these 3 years, any 2 years or 1 year relevant data is available for our analysis. Now we'll go ahead with the second filter, which says that net sales. So now as I mentioned under the quantitative filter part, that initially first we have done this financial data availability, that filter has been done. Now next, under this particular parameter of net sales is coming up, right? So now in this net sales we will put range wherein the companies which have more than 1 crore of turnover, that companies will only get selected. So as you saw that the absolute values here are in crores only. So I want the companies who have more than 1 crores turnover, right? So I'll put here one number, which is, so I'll select the operator as this is the greater than equal to sign, and this is where I'll put one number, right? Now after putting this number, I'll just place tab. I don't have to do any other thing. I have to just put number and just click on the tab button, and then after it will automatically process. Now if you can see here, out of 771 companies, 63 companies have been rejected as they might have turnover which is less than 1 crore, which is not more than 1 crore, right? More than or equal to 1 crore. Now this is one of the thing. Now if we go ahead with these parameters, I don't want to use sales to income, operating profit, margin, etc. I don't want to use. I want to use PBT. Why? Because I don't want loss making companies in my comparable data set. As we saw in quantitative filters, one of the generic filter which is used is that the company which is loss making or probably which is consecutively loss making, we don't take that company as a comparable company. All right. So what we will do is, I will, I will just put a filter. So whose PBT, that is profit before tax, is more than equal to 0. So technically it will exclude the negative PBT or so loss making entities, right? So I'll just write here 0 and press the tab button. So the companies whose profit will be more than 0 will technically be accepted, and the other companies will get rejected. So now as you can see, it has processed this. So out of 708 companies which were matched in earlier criteria, only 358 companies satisfy that criteria of profit before tax, right? Now we also need to exclude the company which has a negative net worth, right? So again same thing, the companies whose net worth is more than or equal to 0 will be only is only required to be accepted, others are required to be rejected. So I'll place again I'll again select an operator which says greater than or equal to, and then again I'll place a 0 number, so that technically the negative net worth companies will get rejected. So guys, as you can see, this is very generic quantitative filters that I am using right now. Why so? Because somewhere in my mind I think that compared to the other type of entities, my entity is into injection molding machinery manufacturing, right? So I would, it is better to have more comparables for analysis rather than having the less comparables. Now if I keep on putting more and more filters, which probably in certain cases you might be required to put in, but if I keep on putting more and more filters, the comparable data set will get narrowed down. So I won't have comparables itself, or I will have very less comparables for qualitative analysis itself. So I would avoid that type of situations. Whatever filters are required at first place, I'll put that filters first, and then after I'll go ahead with the qualitative analysis. We'll see to that in the next part, but right now we are dealing with this particular quantitative thing. Now as you can see that 5 companies out of 358 companies have been rejected and 353 companies are being matched and accepted. Now the final filter which I'll apply is this RPT2 sales, right? Other filters are fine, I'm not going to apply that, but this RPT2 sales filter, so what RPT percentage, so see, I have seen somewhere that people also go for RPT of 50%, and at certain point of times people may also go at a RPT of 25%. So what is that? Basically RPT to sales ratio, as I explained in my earlier video also, that it's a filter that we apply. So we assume that the related party transactions should have less influence on the operations of the company, and that is what with this filter we will remove such companies wherein there is more influence, that is the value of the transactions which has been undertaken with the related party by that company is less than 25% and not more than 25% technically, right? So how will I do that? Now in this first two things I have applied an operator which is greater than equal to. Now in RPT2 sales I will have to apply the other filter which is less than equal to. So I just want only such companies who have RPT to sales ratio which is less than 25%. Now it is in percent only, so I have to just mention here 25 only. I don't have to mention percent or anything, but it's as it's in percent only, I have to write here percent only, and I'll get the companies. So out of 353 companies, if you see, only 137 companies fit into the criteria, that is which has less than or equal to 25% of RPT to sales ratio. Now you saw that out of 1241 companies, only 137 companies are there which I am required to analyze further on qualitative aspects, correct? So I need to analyze first. This is the entire quantitative process which I have done on the database. Now this process is over. Now I need to take screenshots at each and every stage. Also I need to maintain this file of search process which I have already shown you. So once when this file is maintained, then you are also required to take screenshots and put that into the file. You are not required to submit that screenshot at this point of time when you make the TP report, but it is better that you keep it with you. Each and every process take screenshots. Each and every process gets completed, take screenshots. Why? Because it serves as an proof that you have undertaken the search at the appropriate date and time, correct? I hope this clarifies. Now I'll just move ahead to generate the report of this particular entire analysis, right? Now we have this thing in database. Now we need to extract that particular thing from the database. Now generally whatever Excel files icon you see here, you need to download that. You click on that button and you will be able to download the files appropriately. But what main file important for is this matrix report. Now I'll just click that so that I can get that particular file from this database. Matrix report will tell me that what were the total number of companies which were selected, and what are the companies on what criteria they have been rejected, and what are the final accepted companies. So this will come under this matrix report. Other than that, you can also see this view report. It will show you the list of companies which are finally accepted. Correct. So that is what the list it will show. It will populate that list. Just wait for, you have to keep patience when you are using this type of databases. Just keep patience. It will generate that report also. And once that is generated, see, now it is generated. So now, as you can see that this report has been generated, and it can show you the companies which have been accepted, right, as a comparables. Now I'll just take 1-2 examples to explain you that this whatever thing what we did fulfills all the criteria. Now I'll take the example of the first company only. The first company's name is Gujarat Polysynthesis Limited. Now this company has a data for 2021 as well and 2022 as well. As you can see, there are 2 line items for this same company, right? Now we enter the criteria of the sales more than 1 crore. So this company has a sales more than 1 crore, right? 19.34 and 30.02. So these are in crores, correct? So this fits into this criteria. Then again, we went ahead and we wanted a positive PBT, right? So that's where you can see 4.96 and 1.44 is the positive PBT. Then it has a positive net worth, and then the RPT to sales are less than 25%. So this is the correct search that you have made, right? Now you should always have a habit of downloading all the Excel files, right? As a part, of keeping it for reference and records, you should always try to download all the Excel files like this summary details, summary, then this report has been, you can download here from this by clicking on this icon. So it will automatically get downloaded, right? What important for us is this matrix report because it shows the accept reject part. Now this summary details are also important, that also you should download. So it will give you summary of this entire process that you did. Screenshots already you have taken, and apart from that you are also required to prepare this annexure. This particular annexure means that this search for companies on public database using keywords. So whatever database, suppose if you are using 2 databases like Capitaline and Provis, then there will be this entire search for Capitaline and the other search would be for Provis. So it may happen, right? So these files I'll be keeping below this video. Don't worry on that part. So this template you will always get on this part, but you are required to put this present this particular search process by way of this particular file, and you need to extract the data whatever you have got from this search. Now here our work for Capitaline ends. Now let me just also open the files which I have downloaded from the Capitaline so that it is easy to understand. Okay, now you can see that there are 4 files which have been downloaded. Now I'll just save that in one folder which I have named as search output. This is just Capitaline extracts only. So let me also just name them or put them in a Capitaline extract folder. C line extract, right? So why I am keeping it separate is because basis these files my annexures will get prepared. These are not going to be presented in my report. This and screenshots file, right? So these are not going to be presented in my reports. These are just files as a backup which I have kept it now. Now let us understand these 4 files as well which we have extracted from the Capitaline database. Now as I said that matrix report is one of the important file that we need to analyze to understand that what are the comparable companies, final accepted comparable companies as also rejected comparable companies. Now I'll just open that file and explain you. Now as you saw that there were 1241 companies generated out of this entire exercise that what we did, right? Now you can see here if you count it, it will be 1241 number of companies, right, which has been generated, and out of that final accepted companies, if I just go ahead again in this database, I can understand that there are only 137 companies which has been accepted. Now you see here the status part. Now I'll just filter out this entire part first. Now if I just tell you that the status part, in status part, if you see here the accepted number of companies, and if I count that, that will be 137 only, which will fit my all of this criteria. These are the companies which I have to take further, and I need to undertake a qualitative analysis. So whether the products of this company are comparable or not, whether this is engaged in those same operations which my tested party is engaged into or not. So this is what I need to do on this accepted comparables. But on the rejected comparables, I need to do is, so first I'll select here rejected comparable. So I'll come to know that, okay, on what basis they have been rejected. So company long name, as I said, there are companies which doesn't have this economic or financial data appropriate. So they will, itself be rejected on this particular first part. And then after year end, so there is no financial data for that particular year. So that is where they are rejected. Then there are sales criteria. On sales which are less than 1 crore, they might have been rejected. So if you see here in every column, there will be yes or no, right? In every column, you can see that option of yes, no, right? So no is basically rejected and yes is for accepted. So if a company is accepted in this criteria, could happen that it might have been rejected in this C column. So in that column it could be no, and then after further it will be no only, because the criteria will move on further query to query only, right? So that is how your entire search process will happen. Correct. Now out of this particular part, as I said, this is accept reject matrix. Now there are also other files that we have downloaded. Let us see that first. What are these files? It will revolve around these aspects only. So first, this is the file of match unmatch. So you will also get this. Every company has a unique code in capital line. So you will get the code name. So this file will tell you that what companies have been rejected at what point of time, at what point of query it has been rejected. So it will give you that details. It is not that way relevant right now, but just for information, I am just opening this file, and appropriately you can understand that why they have been rejected, right? Now this is matrix report, this is match and match, and then there is this grid view. Probably this file shows, let me just open that first. So this is basically the output which you have got, right, from the capital line. You must have also maintained this in Word. You must have taken screenshot, but as an additional thing, because it also shows you the date. So at point of times, TPO may ask you for this particular output file, which has been generated by capital line only. So at point times, you may require to submit this part as well, to show that genuinely you have taken all such things, right? This is just for backup, unless until it is asked by the transfer pricing officer or assessing officer, right? So we see all these files, and then this TP screener export, that is what the final accepted companies which have been exported, right? I'll just do the yes here. All right, so these are all companies, accepted companies who fits in our criteria, right? Now these are all accepted companies. I am just I'll just keep these files in below this video so that you can understand the process. It will be of no use though, but still for your reference purpose, I am just keeping these files. Please don't use it anywhere. It is just for illustrative purposes, these files. Now, let me just save this first. Okay, so you get that part as well, right? So now see, when we are presenting this particular part in TP report, what happens that we need to prepare two files considering this particular analysis. So first is, as I said, there is this search process keyword file from where you have selected the keywords in particular module, and then appropriately you have got the data, right? In this particular file, I have just worked on this two modules and have got this 1241 companies. In your case, please ensure that you work on maximum number of modules and use maximum number of relevant keywords and appropriately get the output done, right? So this is the first annexure that you would be required to present under the transfer pricing report when you are into that search process part, right? In that phase, you are required to submit, provide this annexure. Now the second would be, you are not required to provide this screenshots, right? Now In the second part, what you're required to present in the TP report is that first you need to analyze the accept reject matrix. Correct. I am opening the accept reject matrix which I had earlier for my this company. And if you see here, now this is the accept reject matrix and how I present that in TP report. So I don't have to, I don't have to present this particular thing in this entire manner only. I have to present in a simple and good manner. So I'll just open that particular presentation of accept reject matrix. I think this is where, okay, no, so not this is where, okay, so this is where I need to present the accept reject matrix under the TP report. I'll be sharing this entire files with you so that it is easy for you to understand that how to present that data in the TP report when you do that. Now see, if you can see here, all this list of companies which I have accepted or rejected, this best Compton Grieve has been rejected. The reason for that is it doesn't have data. So what I have written is as a reason here is it doesn't have sufficient financial data, right? Now if I see other reasons, then GE&D India Limited, right? Now if you see here, there's a company GE&D India Limited. Now it had data, the years were available, the sales were more than 1 crore, but it had a loss. It was a loss making company, and that is where you can see here that it has been rejected because it's a loss making company. All right. So this is how I have created the this accept reject thing, and this is the annexure which will go in the TP report. Now this is how your TP report will be prepared, and if you can see here, I have also pivoted that entire thing to present in this particular part, and this particular table will also go under the TP report. I'll tell you once when we discuss that economic analysis presentation of economic analysis. In that particular part, I'll explain that particular thing as well. I hope this clarifies. Now we are, I think, done with entire search process, that is live search process is over, and you have also saved these files. I'll be saving all these files below this video just for reference purposes only. Please avoid using that in your live cases, in your real cases. This is just for your understanding and information that how you work on this database. I hope I have clarified the use of database. So in every database, if you go ahead, there will be three processes. First is query, how do you enter the keywords, build the query and get the output, process the filters and get the output. So these are the steps that you need to follow when you are using the live search database. Now I'll catch you in the next video when I'll be explaining that the process of undertaking the qualitative analysis. So once you have a comparable data set which has which has filtered out the quantitative aspects, then we will go ahead and we'll understand the qualitative aspects. What could be the reasons for rejecting and how to do that particular analysis with the comparable with the list of companies which you have in data set, and for which you are required to arrive at a comparable data set. I'll catch you in the next video to explain the same. Thank you.